Hi, this is Monika Kinner from mysweetprairie.ca. This is a straightforward video on the construction of fabric postcards. Here's what you will need. You will need some fabric, fun fabric of any size. Small is good enough. You will need boring fabric, plain fabric. That's for the backs of your postcards. So it will need to be light so that you can write on it, write your message on it when you're done. These are the fabric pens you can be writing with. You can use ballpoint pens. They work just fine too. You can get fancy and find postcard stamps, but that doesn't even matter as long as you write postcard across the top and a line down the middle. That's all you really need. Colored threads of any kind, any brand. I use all brands, doesn't matter. Rayon, polyester, cotton, garage sale finds, variegated, just regular weight thread. And I always put white in the bobbin. It's really important to use white in the bobbin because this will be the back of your postcards. You will need a rotary cutter and ruler. And the most important ingredient in the postcards is the stabilizer. This is the center of your postcards. This is Pellon. Timtex is another word. Flexi Firm. I actually buy the roll, and this is what it sort of looks like. And I buy double-sided fusible. If you can't find fusible, you can go buy the fusible webbing separately. You can also use glue stick to put your fabrics onto and stitch later. And for mailing, that would be one regular stamp because it's just letter mail. Okay, here we go. You'll begin by cutting stiff inner core material, which are these. They'll end up looking like these. So if you look at my grid here, they're 4 by 6 inches. I spend like an hour just cutting until I have a good stack of these. I thought this would make a great single backing fabric. This is one way of going about it as well. Picking one fabric, and then once it's on, you can embellish it with thread. It's really important to cut your fabric a little bit bigger than the stabilizer, as you can see. That's my dog. Because you're working with double-sided fusible, it is so important to use parchment paper. So I will go like this first. I make this little pocket. I'll go like this first, and then I'll put my fabric on it, or maybe I will want to do this, right? You can go like this, make some kind of cool design, keep covering it up. I like the way I kind of sing while I work. Oh, that fits cool there. Make sure it's at least to the edges. Anyways, you get the idea. Okay, I'm just gonna go like this just to show you what I mean. Okay, cover it, and then you're gonna iron it. Run your iron over there. It doesn't have to be too long. It needs to be hot. Follow the instructions that the fusible product says. And again, if you can't find double-sided, get your own fusible webbing and follow the instructions for that. So when you're done that, ta-da, it will look like this. And see how it's stuck? It's actually adhered, which is great. So now that it's like this, what I want you to do is flip it, take your rotary cutter, line it up to the edges, and then you're going to slice it. Slice off the excess all the way around until it looks like, ta-da, until it looks like this. So it's all cut clean and there's no edge showing. And then you'll start sewing. And the reason why I want you to do it this way is because once you start stitching, I've seen people do this before in my classes, where they pick commercial fabric with, I don't know, like a dog on it and some clouds or something, and they put a sunshine on it, and they do all this stitching and all this work, and then they trim it, and they go, oh no, I didn't want the sun way over on the edge. I thought it was more, you know, more here, but when they cut it off, they find out their whole composition isn't balanced like they wanted it to. So I always suggest that people slice off the excess before they stitch, just so they really can see exactly the parameters of their composition right from the beginning, right from the get-go. Definitely use your ruler because it is so easy with those sharp rotaries. Even though you have a bit of an edge, it is so easy to just go, and then you're going to be like, you know, saying bad words that I can't say on the internet. So once that's done, you can begin your stitching and do whatever you want. So I did some satin stitches over and over and over and over and over, which was very fun, and I thought it worked really well. And then I just ran some straight lines here. Don't worry about this. You can trim up all the excess threads when you're finished. So I just worked and worked and worked on that. So there they are, finished, and you're done your stitching. Look at that mess, but it doesn't matter. And this is why you put the backs on last, right? Look at that. Isn't that great? So that's gonna be really easy to cover. This was a bit more of a mess because of the tension being off. I used a very fine thread and a very old wrecked machine. So that's a bit of a mess, but that's okay because it gets covered at the end. I've pre-cut these, and same as when we started, I make sure my fabrics are a little bit bigger than the postcard stabilizer, which is 4 by 6 inches. 4 by 6, so that you can see that these are slightly larger. I'm going to flip it, and then this will go on this way. So I'm going to press it because remember, this is double-sided fusible. I'm going to press it on with my iron. Actually, I'll go do that. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. So here it is. Ta-da! See? And then I'm going to take my ruler. Always use a ruler. Like I said, it's so easy to mess up. And slice through your beautiful design. This is very plain. I realize it's not the most beautiful postcard, but just for demo's sake, this is the first one I grabbed. Trimmed up. There we go, and it's done. You can use a pair of scissors too, because you do have the nice thick layer of pellon in the middle, and then you're ready to satin stitch the edges. So you need to close it up. So that's the last bit. So think of it like you're binding a quilt now, except you don't have to make binding. You just satin stitch the edges. And you can see as you're stitching, you want, as it goes left and then, oops, left and then to the right, left and to the right. Each right stitch is going to be just off the edge. And that gives it that look of wrapping around the fabric. Sorry, wrapping around the postcard. So isn't that cool? A lot of people think when I show them this that it's been serged, but it's not. It's just a simple zigzag stitch. And I just let it go through. So it's, and then when I get to the end, you just go to the end with the needle on the outside, lift your foot, pivot, and then you just keep stitching, 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 stitching to the end. Lift your foot, pivot, and keep going. Okay, so the postcard is made. Now you get to write on the back of it. You can use a ballpoint pen, they work just fine. I'm going to use a marker. So on the left side, you put your message. You don't have a lot of room, so you probably can only write about a sentence, but that's where you write your message. On the right side is where you address it. And always remember to sign your card. On the top of the left side, you put your return address. And that's how you do it. If you wait till the end of my video, I do have a fundraiser Canada-wide postcard project going on right now. If you want to hang on and learn more about that. I'm just sending a thank you note here, so oops, you can't erase, so you have one chance to get it right. This is the fun part. Okay, so my return address sticker will go there. Stickers stick great on fabric, so they don't come off, believe it or not. Here's my stamp. Okay, Margaret, do your magic. Stick it right there, and I'm done. Off to the mailbox. I'm currently working with the Ukrainian Museum of Canada and the Ukrainian Canadian Congress in a Canada-wide postcards project in support of Ukrainian refugees. If you would like to be part of this and create postcards themed with yellow and blue or sunflowers, please contact me. My email is monika@mysweetprairie.ca.